And particularly the church, right?
Well,
As a little girl.
as a little girl, it was exciting. It was a place where I saw my friends. It was a place where I got to witness good music. That's where I actually developed a love for music, because I'm a musician, so I developed my love for music and all of that. And it just was a place that I went to enjoy worship. But at a young age, it was a place I went to hang with my friends and, all of that. So it's always been the foundation for my life, because it's always been a part of my life,
Okay. And as someone who grows up in the church from yay high, childhood romances always happen. And you connected to the pastor's son, Reverend Tate's son. And you all were like around what age?
Well, he initially asked me to be his girlfriend when I was 11. So, and he's like 11 months younger than me. So he was 10, I believe, and I was 11. So from that, like, he was my first love, my first everything at the time. So.
And he didn't live here full time?
No. He lived in Louisiana, and he came here for the summer to be with his dad. So he would be here every summer.
Okay. And was Reverend Tate your childhood pastor from when you started?
So from 8, he came, I believe, I'm not 100% sure now, but I believe he came in 1998, and I was 8 at the time at Mount Nebo.
Okay. So from very early then, Reverend Tate was aware of the connection between his son and you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So he always knew there was that puppy love there. And up until this point, you kind of thought him like a father figure? I'm talking about Reverend Tate now. Or how would you describe your relationship with him?
Well, when he first came, I was a kid. I didn't describe it as much of anything as this guy who's up in the pulpit. And, I'm this kid, because I wasn't playing at Mount Nebo. I didn't start playing for the church, which was True Fellowship, until I was 12. So at this time, I was just not paying much attention until the church split. And I was concerned about, I think it was in 1992, I was concerned about, oh my God, like, if he is not the pastor anymore, because we were still at Mount Nebo, if he's not the pastor anymore, how am I going to see his son? And so that was I wanted him to stay. I wanted him to stay because I wanted to still see his son. So it was more so that initially. If you want to know, like, when we got to True Fellowship, yes, I looked at him as a father-in-law figure. I had a father, so I didn't look at him as a father figure, but I thought that he wanted me to marry his son, because basically growing up with him being a preacher, his son could sing and could do different things like mimic his dad in preaching. So people, you know how that is, they see him doing things like, you gonna be a preacher. So me as a musician, they were saying, y'all gonna be a good dynamic duo, because I'm gonna play for his church. So I just assumed that that's what his dad was kind of, if I can use lack for a better word, grooming us to be like this dynamic couple. And he became that person for me, someone that I talked to. I would go in his office. Like we said, his son didn't live here, so I would go in his office and speak with him about his son, like, well, what he got going on, things like that. So that's why I say it was more so that kind of relationship, plus I was the musician for the church, he was the director for the church, so it was also a musical relationship where he would give me the songs that we're going to be doing this week, and I'd have to learn them, things like that.
And that's what Reverend Tate would be?
Yes.
Okay. So we fast forward to you're 17. And tell us now where it went left.
Okay, so like I said, for years I had been going in, not just going in his office, because it wasn't just about going in his office, but just having conversations with him about his son, school even, because he would help me sometimes with certain papers that I was doing, because he was really skilled at, like with his sermons, he did them like in expository form. So he would have three points, an introduction and a conclusion. And in a lot of our schoolwork, that's how we had to write, so he would help me even in school with that. But one particular day, I went into his office. He had called me up there, and that was not uncommon. But one particular day when I went in there, he started telling me like how he had been looking at me in a way that was not, like a father figure. And I said, he didn't say not in a father figure. I just don't remember specifically what he said. It was something that let me know
this is different.
This is different. He's talking to me like I'm a woman. And I said, but I love your son. And I start crying. I said, but I love your son. And he said, but he's not mature enough for you. He's not, and let's go back a little bit. He was already kind of giving me throwing little hints that I don't think, my son is mature enough for you. I don't think that he is like basically ready for someone so mature like you. And in that point, I didn't think he meant like physically mature. I thought he meant like mentally mature, So I thought that was his way of kind of trying to let me know, hey, my son is down there, doing a lot of stuff. So you need to focus on someone else. And so like after he came on to me and I told him that, he was like, he's not mature enough for you. I'm crying, and he ends up crying to me and said, I'm so sorry. This will never happen again. I don't know what came over me. It's just, please forgive me. And because I trusted him all of these years, from probably 10, because I won't say I trusted him at 8, I didn't really know him, but probably from 10 on up, since I trusted him, my mom trusted him, I wanted to believe him. That was in like the beginning of August of 97. Our school started, I went to Lincoln Senior High School. We were the last class of 98, and we ended up going on strike at the beginning of the school year. And so like he had told me like mid-August, hey, there's a convention, the National Baptist Convention, that I want you to go to. Well, I was a little hesitant because I'm like, he came on to me in August, but he did say.
And this is?
September. Well, this was, in the beginning of August. This is like mid-August.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, he came on to me like earlier, but after that happened, that transpired, he didn't do any, he didn't say anything either way. So I'm like, okay. But I still was hesitant. My mom said, Pia, this is a good opportunity. I was a senior in high school. I'm going to Denver, Colorado, and there'll be other pastors in the that'll be there. Maybe you might find someone like to the school you're going off to, because I knew I was going to plan on going off to school, so you may get a church to play for when you're down there. So she was like, it's just a good thing to do. And like I had said, because I had been the type of kid who didn't get in a lot of trouble. I didn't, she didn't have to worry about me bringing boys over to the house or nothing like that. I was pretty good. She trusted me and said, well, you'll be there. I know he's going to look out for you. You have your own room, all of that. So fast forward, I decided to go. Fast forward to the actual convention. He goes first on Sunday. He gets there like Sunday afternoon. I take a flight later. Once I landed and got to the hotel, he said, man, they done ran out of rooms. So now I'm in Denver, Colorado as a 17-year-old with nobody no help, no like. So he was like, you're gonna have to room with me. And I'm like, in that moment when he said that, I said, he set me up. Like, he brought me here in isolation where nobody's here to protect me. I didn't know many of the people at the convention, not better than he did. So I'm in this room the first night. He didn't do anything. I don't even believe he came into the room until like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning that first night. So I was like, okay, good. Maybe he, I had heard years and rumors about him being, like a womanizer.
Okay. So
but not necessarily with children.
Second, I gotta stop.